What if I told you that right now, at this exact moment, most people buying SUVs are gambling? Not at a casino, at a dealership. They're spending $50, $60, sometimes $80,000 on a vehicle they think is reliable based on a brand name, based on how it looked in an ad, based on what their neighbor said in a driveway conversation. And statistically, a significant portion of them are going to lose. Not because the car breaks down at 50 miles, but because it breaks down at 51,000 miles, or the transmission starts slipping at year 3, or the infotainment system begins freezing every morning like a laptop from 2009, and they're left sitting at a dealer service counter wondering where their peace of mind went, along with thousands of dollars in unplanned repair bills. Here's the thing though, the information to avoid all of that already exists. It's buried in studies that most car buyers never read. It comes from surveys of tens of thousands of real owners, people who actually live with these vehicles day in and day out for years. And right now, based on the most current data available, there are exactly 5 SUVs that stand apart from everything else on the market. 5 that have been independently verified, ranked, and awarded for long-term reliability in ways that most brands can only dream about. These aren't the flashiest names. In some cases, they're not even the names most people consider first. And that, if you're paying attention, is exactly the point. I'm going to walk you through all 5. By the end of this video, you will know which SUVs are built to last, why they hold up when others collapse, and exactly which trims and model years give you the highest probability of buying a vehicle you can depend on for the next decade. This is not opinion, this is data. Before we dive in, if you are new here to the ATIF Cars channel and you actually want real, research-backed information about cars that protects your money, hit that subscribe button right now. There are hundreds of channels that will tell you which SUV looks the best. We're going to tell you which ones survive. Now let's talk about what's actually happening out there, because the context matters before we get to the list. J.D. Power has been running their vehicle dependability study for 37 years. That is not a new study. That is decades of data, refined and revalidated every single year. In their 2026 report, published in February of this year, they surveyed 33,268 original owners of 2023 model year vehicles after 3 full years of ownership. 3 years, that's the real proving ground, not the first 3 months when everything still smells like factory plastic. 3 years of real roads, real weather, real life. And what did they find? The industry average came in at 204 problems per 100 vehicles. That number went up by 2 points compared to the year before. The overall trend across the entire industry is that cars are getting less dependable over time, not more. The culprit is software, infotainment systems, over-the-air updates that confuse more than they help, technologies that were rushed to market before they were ready. So while the rest of the industry is quietly getting worse, the 5 vehicles we're about to cover are doing the opposite. They're holding their ground, and in some cases, they're dominating. Here we go. Number 5, the Buick Encore GX. Most people shopping for a compact luxury SUV walk right past this one. They head straight for the German brands, maybe a Korean luxury option, possibly a smaller Japanese crossover. The Encore GX doesn't have the cachet, it doesn't have the badge prestige, and that is almost certainly costing those buyers thousands of dollars in future repair bills. Here is what the data actually says. The Buick Encore GX holds the highest reliability score of any SUV currently in the J.D. Power database, landing at 90 out of 100. Not in its segment, not in its price range, of any SUV, period. That's not a boast, that's a measurement. And for a brand that most automotive media has spent the last decade ignoring or mocking, that number should stop you in your tracks. Buick's secret, and it's not really a secret if you understand how General Motors works, is that the Encore GX is built on proven, battle-tested components shared across multiple GM vehicles. These aren't parts rushed into production yesterday. These are drivetrains and chassis elements refined through years of real-world use across massive production volumes. When you buy the Encore GX with the 1.3-liter turbocharged engine and the 9-speed automatic, specifically the AWD models, you're getting a powertrain combination that owners consistently point to as the sweet spot for long-term dependability. The The base 1.2-liter with the CVT is where you see more owner complaints. Avoid that setup. The 1.3-liter with the 9-speed is where this vehicle makes its case. Now, let's be honest, because that's what you're here for. The Encore GX is not the most exciting vehicle on this list. The rear seats are not spacious, the digital displays have drawn criticism from owners, and the resale value, scored at 77 out of 100 by J.D. Power, trails behind some of its rivals on this list. If you're buying this vehicle as a financial asset, you'll want to know that going in. But if your question is, what compact SUV am I least likely to be stranded in at 80,000 miles, the answer, right now, backed by the data, is the Buick Encore GX. The dealership experience score of 87 out of 100 also means that when you do need service, the experience is significantly better than what you'd get at many mass-market brands. One owner who switched from a German compact luxury SUV put it simply: 3 ownership cycles with different European brands, always something going wrong after year 2. Got the Encore GX, drove it 70,000 miles, nothing, not a single unplanned service visit. That story isn't exceptional, it's the norm for this vehicle. It just happens that almost nobody is talking about it.
Number 4. The Buick Enclave. Let's stay in the Buick family for one more moment, because the J.D. Power 2026 dependability study didn't just crown Buick as the highest-ranked mass-market brand for the second consecutive year. It handed out awards to specific Buick models that proved this is a pattern, not a fluke. The Enclave is one of those award recipients. The Enclave is Buick's 3-row mid-size SUV, and before you write it off as a suburban family hauler with no soul, consider what it actually delivers at the level that matters most over time. It works. After 3 years of ownership, Enclave owners report one of the lowest problem rates of any 3-row SUV in its class. The infotainment system has a quick and functional interface. The powertrain, a 3.6-liter V6 paired with a 9-speed automatic, has a proven track record that goes back years. The fuel economy comes in at 26 miles per gallon combined, not class-leading, but not offensive either. And critically, the engine itself has shown almost no record of major mechanical failures across ownership surveys. Here's the contrast that matters. Every year, buyers choose 3-row SUVs from brands that score far below Buick in dependability, simply because those brands have more aggressive marketing budgets or more recognizable hood ornaments. Meanwhile, the Enclave sits at a dealership, relatively underpriced for its quality level, waiting for the buyer who actually did their homework. That buyer keeps it for a decade and drives 130,000 miles without a crisis. The other buyer trades in their imported 3-row after year 3 because the repair bills are eating them alive. The Enclave's J.D. Power Award for the 2026 study is its most recent validation, but this vehicle has been quietly building a dependability reputation for years. Smart money, as the data shows, has been buying it for exactly that reason. Number 3. The Chevrolet Tahoe. Now we're talking about a vehicle that most people have heard of, but probably don't fully understand from a reliability standpoint. The Chevrolet Tahoe just won the top spot in the large SUV segment of the J.D. Power dependability study for both 2025 and 2026, back-to-back. In a segment that includes serious competition, the Tahoe stood alone at the top. Its resale value score from J.D. Power sits at 84 out of 100. Its driving experience score is also 84 out of 100. In 2023 alone, Chevrolet sold over 110,000 Tahoes. That's not a niche vehicle with a small reliability sample. That is a massive real-world population of owners putting these trucks through everything from school pickup runs to mountain passes, and consistently reporting satisfaction with the mechanical integrity of what they bought. The engine to focus on is the 5.3-liter V8. This power plant has a long, well-documented history of durability, paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission and a suspension that, according to owner surveys, genuinely absorbs road imperfections rather than transmitting every crack in the pavement into the cabin. The Tahoe in its most common configuration is a vehicle built for the long haul, literally and figuratively. Now here's where we have to give you the full picture, because this channel doesn't exist to sell you anything. The Tahoe has some known trouble spots. There was a recall affecting nearly 600,000 General Motors vehicles that included the 2023 Tahoe, a manufacturing defect-related issue. The 2025 model has drawn some complaints about the infotainment screen occasionally blacking out or losing audio. These are the exact kinds of technology-related issues that are dragging the entire industry's dependability scores downward right now, and the Tahoe is not immune to that trend. Consumer Reports' prediction for the 2026 Tahoe is below average reliability, citing data from 2023 through 2025. So why is it still on this list at number 3? Because J.D. Power's dependability study, specifically measuring real owners of 3-year-old vehicles across 184 problem categories, puts the Tahoe at the top of its segment. The powertrain is where the Tahoe shines. The electrical and infotainment side is where you watch for issues. If you're shopping for a Tahoe, target the LS and LT trims for the most streamlined, proven feature set. Load it with technology, and you load it with potential headaches. Keep it simple, keep it mechanical, and this SUV earns its place on this list. Number 2, the Lexus GX. Here's where this list gets interesting. The Lexus GX won the Midsize Premium SUV Award from J.D. Power in both the 2025 and 2026 studies, back-to-back, in a brand that overall ranked highest of all brands, premium and mass market, for 4 consecutive years now, with a score of 140 problems per 100 vehicles in 2025, compared to the industry average of 202. Let that gap land for a second. While the average vehicle on the road was experiencing 202 problems per 100 vehicles, Lexus owners were experiencing 140. That is not a small difference. That is a different category of ownership experience entirely. And the GX specifically, the one that actually won the SUV award, is built on a body-on-frame platform shared with the Toyota 4Runner, a platform famous for surviving everything from Saharan heat to Alaskan winters without complaint. The previous second-generation GX, particularly the 2021 and 2022 model years, achieved a perfect 5 out of 5 reliability verdict from Consumer Reports. Perfect, in a segment where most luxury SUVs struggle to crack average. Consumer Reports described the second-generation GX as having a reputation for rock-solid reliability and off-road prowess. Here's something a Lexus GX owner told us that we found remarkable. He was on his third GX, 2014, 2016, and now a 2025. He described it as the smoothest, quietest vehicle he's owned across 5 different cars in his garage, including a Porsche 911 GTS. He said the 4-wheel drive system has never once given him trouble. The massaging seats are exceptional, and the only frustration was the small gas tank. Not the engine, not the transmission, not a warning light at 40,000 miles. The gas tank. Now, and we promised you the complete picture, so here it is. The third-generation GX, which launched in 2024 with a brand new turbocharged V6, has had some early ownership struggles. Consumer Reports reported below-average reliability for the 2024 model year, citing brake squealing issues and some problems with the new engine. Some owners have dealt with brake noise from the first month of ownership, and Lexus initiated a recall on certain third-gen GX models for a backup camera issue. The good news is that by the 2026 model year, the GX has moved back toward average reliability ratings according to Consumer Reports, suggesting the early production issues are being resolved. The strategic advice here is if you want a Lexus GX at its absolute most reliable, the 2021 and 2022 model years of the previous generation with a naturally aspirated V8 are the ones to target on the used market. That's where the GX's legendary dependability is at its most proven. But make no mistake, as a brand, Lexus earned its 4-year streak at the top of J.D. Power's study for a reason, and the GX, awarded in 2025 and 2026, is a central reason why. If you're getting real value from this breakdown, take 2 seconds and hit the like button before we get to number 1. It helps us reach people who actually need this information, and it costs you nothing.
Number 1, the Toyota 4Runner. Wait until you hear this. The Toyota 4Runner won the Upper Midsize SUV Dependability Award in J.D. Power's 2026 study, and it did it with a vehicle that has not been significantly redesigned in over a decade. Let that be the loudest statement in this entire video. In an industry where manufacturers are adding screens and sensors and over-the-air updates and complex hybrid systems and advanced driver assistance technologies, all of which are failing at alarming rates and dragging the industry dependability average to its highest problem score since 2009, Toyota responded by keeping the 4Runner essentially the same. The same body-on-frame construction, the same naturally aspirated 4.0-liter V6, the same proven transfer case, the same mechanical simplicity that has made this platform legendary. And the result is that while the rest of the industry chases technological complexity and breaks down in the process, the 4Runner just keeps running. It won. In a study measuring 33,268 real owners after 3 years of real ownership, the 4Runner stood at the top of its class. The data on this vehicle over time is extraordinary. The 2023 4Runner had only 13 units affected by any recall, and that recall was for a labeling error on load carrying capacity. A label, not a transmission, not an engine, not a software failure. A label. This is what genuine mechanical durability looks like in the real world. Here's the brutal truth that most car shoppers need to hear. The 4Runner is not the most comfortable SUV on the market. The fuel economy is genuinely poor, 17 miles per gallon combined on the 2023 model. Sitting in it for a long highway drive is not the same experience as sinking into a luxury crossover with air suspension and quiet zone glass. And the technology inside it, particularly the 8-inch touchscreen in earlier models, feels dated by modern standards. But here's what we want you to think about very carefully. The same technology that feels modern and impressive on a test drive is the technology that is failing across the industry at a rate J.D. Power calls historically alarming. The 4Runner's simplicity, the thing that tech-focused buyers mock in YouTube comments, is precisely the reason it wins a dependability award while vehicles loaded with the latest features sit in service bays waiting for parts. One owner put it in terms that are hard to forget. He bought his 4Runner new in 2019, drove it 140,000 miles, crossed deserts, mountain passes, dirt roads that would have defeated a European crossover in the first mile, and the only money he spent beyond scheduled maintenance was a set of tires and a battery. 140,000 miles, one battery, and a set of tires. That is not an outlier. That is the 4Runner's track record, confirmed year after year by owners who refuse to give the vehicle up, which is exactly why used 4Runners hold their value at levels that embarrass most luxury brands. Toyota built a vehicle so reliable that people won't sell it. And when they finally do, the next owner pays nearly what the first owner paid, because the market knows the truth about what this vehicle can do over time. The 5th generation 4Runner, which was introduced for 2025, brings a turbocharged engine and a new platform. It's going to be years before that generation builds the reliability record the previous one established. If long-term dependability is your primary concern and you're shopping today, the 2019 through 2024 5th-generation models with the naturally aspirated V6 represent the 4Runner at its most proven. That is where the track record lives. That is what J.D. Power's award is measuring, and that is what deserves the #1 spot on this list. So here is the final picture, distilled down to what actually matters. J.D. Power studied 33,268 real owners. They measured 184 distinct problem categories. They tracked vehicles for 3 full years of ownership. And what emerged was a clear separation between the brands and models that deliver on their promises long after the sale is complete and the ones that don't. While the industry average climbed to 204 problems per 100 vehicles, these 5 SUVs were winning awards at the top of their segments. While premium brands saw their dependability scores jump 8 points in the wrong direction in one single year, Lexus held its ground for the 4th consecutive year. While new technologies are creating a wave of owner frustration across the industry, the Toyota 4Runner's mechanical simplicity became a competitive advantage. The Buick Encore GX if you need a compact and are willing to look past the badge, the Buick Enclave if you need 3 rows and want a powertrain that will not punish you, the Chevrolet Tahoe if you need a large SUV and want the #1 ranked vehicle in that segment, the Lexus GX if you want luxury that has earned its reliability reputation over decades, not just a press release, and the Toyota 4Runner if you want the most proven, most dependable, most keep-it-forever SUV on the market today, backed by award after award and by owners who simply refuse to let theirs go. Smart money buys engineering and track record. Smart money buys a vehicle that does its job without drama for 100,000 miles and beyond. Smart money buys once and drives forever. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your answer in the comments. Which of these 5 surprised you most? And if you're currently driving one of them, tell us your mileage and how it's treating you. Real owner stories matter more than any study, and our comment section has some of the most honest car conversations on this platform. If this video gave you information you couldn't have gotten anywhere else today, share it with someone who's in the market for an SUV right now. You might save them from making a very expensive mistake. We'll see you in the next one.